You think I'm scared, I'm a coward? Well, guess what? I'm a rich scared and coward. I'm a rich coward. And you think
in a recent appearance on The Boxing Voice, Turki Alalshikh had stated that he had offered 2, 3, many fighters the Bakhram Murtazaliev fight, and in his opinion, they're all scared. I have to say I'm a little bit confused because 2 would be a couple, 3 is few, and many is, well, probably 4 or more. So how many, Turkey? But he won't mention any names, and so be it. Bakhram Murtazaliev, Murda, how about we just call him Murda? For his part, had stated after he beat Tim Tszyu that he wanted the winner of a fight that was supposed to happen back then, Fundora versus Spence, or Terence Crawford. And I know he's been talking to Vergil Ortiz on social media, so clearly the guy wants to unify, go after all the titles, which is something Terence Crawford had stated he was going to do in 2 or 3 fights at 154 pounds, while at the same time claiming that he is too small for Canelo. But after he struggled with Madrimov and Murtazaliev made an appearance in the division, his tune completely changed. So who are these fighters that Turkey offered Murda to? Well, probably Terence Crawford, Fundora, definitely Jaron Ennis, and Vergil Ortiz. It's kind of interesting how everybody wanted to fight Tim Tszyu, but after Murda did what he did, nobody wants to speak his name. We know what the deal is. I think we have a boogeyman at 154 pounds. And no, it's not Jaron Ennis. He never was. The guy had something like 30 fights against nobodies, while himself going on 30. How old is he? I don't know. Don't really care. And now that it's time to put up or shut up, he's talking about tune-ups. So that guy moves like a cherry picker. Let's keep it real. He moves like a low-risk, high-reward type of guy. It is what it is. We've seen it before. He's not the first, won't be the last. He's one of them. And that's not much different than Terence Crawford, someone I told you, been telling you for about a decade now, is, well, just one of them. Once he got in the ring with Madrimov and realized that it wasn't going to be easy, and if you watch that fight again, there's instances where he's either hypnotized by all the feints or frozen with fear. He just sits there and takes punches, the same punch, in fact, over and over and over again. I think he's probably losing his edge and decided to go against a much smaller guy for a lot more money. So I'm not surprised. Just don't call it daring to be great, because it isn't. Because when it came high time to show and prove, finally, Terence Crawford, where you wouldn't have your funny gloves to help you out anymore, and the guys were more or less your size, some of them bigger, some smaller, like Madrimov, he got the fuck out of Dodge. That's what happened. Tell the truth. Sebastian Fundora, for his part, I don't know about that guy. Seems to me like he's ready to retire. So maybe that's what's next for him, but I wouldn't mind that fight. He and Murda, that is. Don't think it's going to happen, but it would be something. 3 belts, if I'm not mistaken. Good fight. Vergil Ortiz, in my opinion, is the type of guy that would fight Murda. However, and I kind of understand why they're moving the way they're moving, he's taking his time. Vergil hit the ground running once he moved up to 154, and he's been taking tough fights. So it's a little bogus for fans to expect that guy to be taking on all the tough fights while someone like Jaron Ennis rests on his laurels. Wants to have 2 tune-ups. When he was the guy to supposedly smash Ortiz, he was going to beat Crawford, he was going to do all those great things. I mean, can you do them? Can you try? So forget Crawford. I don't have much faith in Fundora. Vergil Ortiz, that will probably happen eventually. Or, how about this? The winner of Murda versus Ennis fights Vergil. Or Vergil fights Fundora and the winners of that mini tournament fight each other. Makes sense to me. But Jaron Ennis really doesn't seem to be about that life and seems to want to just cherry pick and get by. So there was that whole Terence Crawford controversy, and I'm not picking any sides, but in my opinion, neither guy wanted to fight the other. It was what it was. They're cut from the same cloth, remember? Then there was the fake, in my opinion, call out by Teofimo Lopez. Look, if you want to duck and cherry pick in this day and age, the best way to do that is to insult Turki Alalshikh or his country or Islam or something along those lines, right? That's just what you do. And I think the Jaron Ennis call out was mostly clout chasing. Or maybe Teofimo was hoping to drain the guy at a catch weight or even 147 pounds and catch him slipping, or I don't know. I don't have too much faith. I don't put too much stock in what Teofimo Lopez has to say. However, the fact that Jaron Ennis did not pull his whole card, if you want to put it that way, well, that speaks for itself. Especially if you believe Teofimo Lopez was just playing around, lying, clout chasing. And then there was the Brian Norman situation where a lot of people took sides, and I really don't care to because it's fucking boring. But Brian Norman, for all the criticism that he has taken, is getting paid more money against someone that's not as dangerous as Jaron Ennis. And still a good fight, you'd have to say. And I think the right kind of fight for him at this point in time. And while Jaron Ennis made it seem like he wanted to fight Norman, and it's Norman who ducked him, look, you can't just dictate to another fighter what moves they take in their career. And if you truly want to fight, you got to be flexible yourself. And he wasn't that, was he? It's ridiculous to expect Jaron Ennis, who hasn't done anything in his career, to dictate to anybody anything. He has to be flexible. He has to show that he truly wants these fights, not just talk about wanting them and none of them materializing. It can't always be somebody else's fault, especially now that he has a good fight. A fight that I think is 50-50 against somebody, finally, who looks to be his own size. So will he take it? And this whole idea of him wanting tune-ups, I mean, clearly his team don't think he's ready. And if he's not, then what the hell is he doing fighting for titles? What the hell are his fanboys doing calling him some type of a boogeyman? The narrative just is incredible. Now, let's not let Murda completely off the hook, because he had been the IBF mandatory to, wait for it, Mr. Charlo for something like 5 years now, maybe even? Because apparently he allowed Charlo to take the Rosario fight and every single fight since then without pressing the issue, without asking for his Mando shot. Now, look, just because you're a mandatory doesn't mean you get the title shot, because if you press the issue, the other guy could just vacate and duck. And I'm sure he was getting paid handsomely, some step-aside money, not to bother Mr. Charlo too much. But he doesn't get completely off the hook, because he could have forced the issue. And if not fought Charlo, at least had fought for the vacant title. Hey, maybe against Tim Tszyu. Oh wait, is that what happened? I don't care. I don't remember. These titles, they're a necessary evil, I guess, but I'm mostly bored by the whole thing. So while maybe Murda at some point in time, he or his people didn't think he was quite ready for the top level, well, he is now. And I've been hearing Jaron Ennis touted as a pound-for-pound great for about 5 years now, so let's get it. No excuses. It's the fight to make. And the winner of that fight could hopefully fight the winner of Virgil Fundora. And Terence Crawford could go have his exhibition fight against Canelo and hopefully sail off into the sunset, hoping his boat doesn't capsize in the meantime. Long, boring-ass story short, 154 pounds is arguably the best division in boxing. Not just talent-wise, but how evenly these guys seem to be matched, at least on paper. How you could make so many competitive fights in this division. Let's not forget about Boachuk or Madrimov, who I expect to get better, and there's others I'm probably forgetting right now. And it's just a matter of time before Haney's big ass can't make 147 pounds anymore. So, for better or for worse, something to look forward to. But yeah, long story short, Ennis versus Murta. Come on, man, it makes sense. It needs to happen next.
I'm scared, I'm a coward. Well, guess what? I'm a rich scared and coward. I'm a rich coward. And